Most people never notice when they're giving their power away. It happens in small moments: reactions, explanations, emotional access. Most people think calm people are easy people. They think calm means quiet. Quiet means weak, and weak means easy to control. But that idea falls apart very quickly in real life. If you've ever stayed calm around someone who likes control, you may have noticed something strange. They didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel relaxed. They became uneasy. You didn't argue. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't challenge them. You just stayed calm. And somehow that bothered them more than anger ever could. This is something people feel but rarely name. Calm people often make manipulators nervous. Not on purpose, not by doing anything obvious, but simply by not reacting the way they expect. Carl Jung believed that many people act from places they don't fully understand. They are driven by hidden fears, needs, and insecurities. Manipulators are often people who don't feel stable inside. They feel unsure. They feel restless. They feel uncomfortable with silence and uncertainty. So they try to control the outside world. They control conversations. They control emotions. They control people. That's how they feel safe. This is why they pay close attention to reactions. They watch your face. They listen to your tone. They notice how fast you respond. Every reaction gives them information. When you react emotionally, even a little, it tells them, "I'm affected. I'm open. You can reach me." That's why manipulators often choose emotional people. People who explain a lot. People who try to keep the peace. People who don't like tension. These people are not weak. They are just readable. Calm people are not easy to read. And that creates a problem. Think about how manipulation usually starts. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's small. A comment meant to test you. A joke that doesn't feel right. A question asked in a way that puts you on the spot. At work, someone might say, "Are you sure this is correct?" Not because they doubt the work, but because they want to see you react. They watch closely. Do you rush to explain? Do you get nervous? Do you try to prove yourself? If you do, they learn something important. They learn they can pressure you. Now imagine you stay calm. You pause. You answer slowly. Or you answer briefly. Or you don't answer right away. The energy shifts. The person who tried to control the moment often starts talking more.
They repeat themselves.
They add explanations you didn't ask for. This is not confidence. This is discomfort. Manipulation needs emotional movement to work. It needs urgency. It needs reactions. Calmness removes that movement. Carl Jung believed that when people don't understand their inner world, they try to manage the outer one instead. They control people because they cannot control themselves. This is why calmness feels threatening to manipulators. Calm people don't rush to fix things. They don't rush to be understood. They don't rush to explain themselves. This sends a quiet message. I am okay even if you don't agree with me. For a manipulator, this is dangerous, because their power comes from making others feel unsure, guilty, or rushed. You see this clearly with guilt. Someone says, "After everything I've done for you." Then they pause. They wait for you to feel bad. If you immediately apologize or explain, the pattern continues. But if you stay calm and say little, the guilt falls flat. Not because you're cold, but because you didn't accept the emotional pressure. Calm people don't fight manipulation. They don't argue with it. They simply don't participate. And when someone doesn't participate in a pattern you rely on, it exposes how weak that pattern really is. Many people believe strength means speaking quickly and clearly at all times, defending yourself, correcting misunderstandings. But manipulators are very comfortable with noise. They know how to twist words. They know how to rush conversations. What they don't know how to handle is stillness. Stillness slows everything down. When you don't rush to correct someone, they feel unsure. When you don't explain yourself, they feel uneasy. When you don't react emotionally, they feel exposed. Calmness creates uncertainty, and uncertainty makes controlling people anxious. This is why calm people are often called hard to read, or intimidating, or cold. Not because they are unkind, but because they don't give their emotions away easily. You see this in close relationships too. Someone pushes your boundaries a little. They say something disrespectful. Then they watch you closely. If you react strongly, they learn where your limits are. If you laugh it off, they push further. But if you stay calm and pause, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know if you noticed. They don't know if they went too far. That uncertainty bothers them, because control depends on knowing what will happen next. Calm people are not easy to predict. They don't rush. They don't panic. They don't explain just to remove tension. They slow the entire situation down. And manipulators rely on speed. They rely on pressure. They rely on emotional urgency. Calm people quietly remove all of that. They don't confront manipulation directly. They don't expose it out loud. They step outside of it. Carl Jung believed that maturity means being able to hold emotional tension without acting on it. Calm people do this naturally. They feel discomfort without fixing it. They feel anger without releasing it. They feel misunderstanding without defending themselves right away. This is not emotional shutdown. It is control. And manipulators can feel that control slipping, even if they don't know how to explain it. That feeling makes them nervous. That's where the fear begins. Sometimes this plays out in very ordinary ways. At work, for example, someone might subtly try to pressure you into taking responsibility for something that isn't really yours. They might say, "Can you handle this? I'm not sure anyone else is capable." Or, "I thought you'd be faster with this." A person who reacts immediately, apologizing, defending, over-explaining, hands them exactly what they want. They've proven you can be influenced. They can push again tomorrow. But a calm person doesn't panic. They might simply respond, "I'll look into it," or "Let's see what needs to be done." No rush, no panic, no guilt, just calm observation. And very quickly, the manipulator starts getting anxious. They try different words, repeat themselves, or over-explain because their usual tactic, stirring an immediate reaction, isn't working. They don't even realize why it's happening. They just feel it. You can see this in friendships too. A friend who constantly criticizes or tries to make you feel bad might say something like, "Wow, you don't seem to care about what I'm saying." Someone who reacts emotionally might try to justify themselves, apologize, or over-explain. The manipulator gets what they want, emotional access. But a calm person might simply nod, stay quiet, or respond with something neutral like, "I hear you." The friend gets no drama, no argument, no panic. They can't read your reaction. And that confusion is uncomfortable for them. Even in family situations, this shows up. A parent or sibling who tries to control might use guilt or subtle pressure. "If you loved me, you would," or "After all I've done for you." The natural reaction for many people is to defend themselves, to explain, to feel guilty, but calm people pause. They may respond with a simple statement, or even stay silent for a moment. This quietness gives manipulators no fuel. They have nothing to hold on to. They start talking more, over-explaining, and even second-guessing themselves. Calmness interrupts the pattern they rely on. It's important to notice something here. Calm people are not ignoring manipulation. They are noticing it, understanding it, and choosing how to respond. They aren't weak. They aren't passive. They are present. And this is what makes manipulators uncomfortable, because manipulators are used to creating energy outside themselves. They push, provoke, and control to feel secure. Calm people don't give them that energy. Think of someone at work who tries to provoke conflict. They make a snide comment about a project, expecting an angry reaction. A reactive person explodes or complains. The manipulator has power. A calm person pauses. They may answer with clarity, but without emotion. They don't justify, they don't overreact. They don't give the manipulator fuel. Suddenly the manipulator feels uneasy. They talk too much. They over-explain. They second-guess themselves, and they can't figure out why. This happens in daily life all the time. with co-workers, with friends, with family, with partners. Every manipulative person reacts the same way when they meet someone who is truly calm. It terrifies them because calmness cannot be rushed. It cannot be pressured. It cannot be controlled. You can notice this in small moments every day. A coworker tries to rush you into a decision. Can you finish this now? Everyone's waiting. Most people feel pressured and start panicking. They might say, "I'm working as fast as I can," or explain why it takes time. A calm person might simply say, "I'll get it done in the best way I can." That's it. Neutral, simple, no panic, no guilt. Suddenly the manipulator feels uneasy. They can't push faster. They can't make you feel stressed. Their usual tricks, subtle pressure, urgency or sarcasm, fail. Even small pauses make a difference. A manipulative friend might complain, "You never text me back right away. Don't you care about me?" Most people would rush to respond. They'd explain, apologize, or reassure. The manipulator gets the emotional access they want. A calm person might pause for a moment before responding, then answer simply, "I saw your message. I'll reply in a minute." No drama, no guilt. The manipulator doesn't get what they want. This works in families too. A parent or sibling might say, "After all I've done for you, I can't believe you didn't help me." Instead of explaining or defending, a calm person might simply say, "I understand. I'll take care of it when I can." Again, no panic, no overreaction, and the manipulator's attempt to control or guilt fails. Calmness in these situations is not passive. It's not weakness. It's awareness and choice. You are aware of what is happening. You understand the manipulation, and you choose how much of yourself to give away. Carl Jung talked about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we don't want to face. Manipulators often project their shadow onto others. They stir up anger, guilt, or anxiety to distract from what they fear inside themselves. Calm people refuse to participate in that projection. They hold themselves steady. They notice without reacting. And manipulators feel this immediately. This doesn't mean calm people are emotionless. They feel anger, frustration, or irritation. They feel tension and discomfort. They just don't hand it over to someone else. They contain it. They control it. And that is the quiet power manipulators fear. Because manipulators depend on access to your emotions to feel safe. They feed off your reactions. When reactions aren't available, they lose control. And when they lose control, they panic. Quietly, instinctively, below awareness. Even in small gestures, calmness is disruptive. Not reacting to sarcasm, waiting before answering criticism, keeping your tone neutral in tense moments. All of this removes power from manipulators. You don't have to expose them. You don't have to fight. You don't even have to explain yourself. Your calm presence does all the work. And this works everywhere. At work, with friends, in families, in romantic relationships. The calmer you are, the more uncomfortable manipulators feel. Even though you haven't shouted, even though you haven't attacked, even though nothing dramatic has happened. And the beauty of it is this: calmness protects you too. Because when you stay calm, you are not reacting out of fear, guilt, or obligation. You are not giving manipulators access to your energy. You are not making yourself vulnerable to emotional exploitation. You are free, and manipulators sense freedom immediately. They feel it. Even if they can't explain it. Even if they try to pretend it doesn't matter. Because their power relies on controlling someone else. Take away control and they are exposed. Calm people are never powerless. They are quietly powerful. They observe, they contain, they respond on their own terms. This is not about being perfect. It's not about never getting upset. It's about choosing when and how to give your energy away. And that choice terrifies manipulators. Because no matter how clever, how experienced, or how subtle they are, manipulators cannot force someone to react. They cannot make someone feel guilt, anger, or fear if the person chooses not to. They cannot control what is not available. Calm people hold their space. They hold their energy. They hold themselves. And manipulators, who live by pressure, urgency, and reaction, are completely unsettled by it. Even if they appear confident, even if they act like nothing is happening, they feel the shift inside themselves. And that is exactly why calm people are quietly dangerous. Not because they fight, not because they argue, but because they cannot be controlled. And that is a lesson Carl Jung taught us long ago. True power is quiet. It is contained. It is steady. It does not need to shout to exist. And in a world full of manipulation, that quiet, calm power is more threatening than any argument, any outburst, or any display of force. Because calm people cannot be rushed. They cannot be pressured. They cannot be manipulated. They simply are. And that alone is enough to shift the balance of power in any situation.